The 10 richest individuals in human history. One does not become wealthy by money alone. What you do with wealth also matters, and this video examines the top 10 richest people throughout history, from prehistory to the current era. The list contains individuals from a variety of walks of life, including entrepreneurs, scientists, artists, and more. Number 10. Henry Ford, $199 billion. Henry Ford, the creator of the Ford Motor Company, outlined a vision that transformed American manufacturing. He built one of the first gasoline-powered cars, the Ford Model T, and sold over 16 million of them. He attributed the Fordism idea, based on mass production at a low cost through an assembly line, to the globe. To ensure that his legacy would go on after his death, he left his money to the Ford Foundation. According to estimates, this man is worth $199 billion in dollars. Number 9. Muammar Gaddafi, $200 billion. In 2011, the death of the former Libyan colonel and ruler shocked the world. The Libyans, on the other hand, lived in poverty, and he saw himself as a king displaying his riches to the whole African continent. For the previous 41 years, he enjoyed unrestricted access to Africa's greatest oil reserves, allowing his bank accounts to grow at an incredible rate. Gaddafi's wealth was estimated at $200 billion at the time of his death in various banks across the globe and in oil interests in Libya. Moreover, the dictator's Airbus A340M plane cost roughly $100 million. Number 8. William the Conqueror, $229.5 billion. William the Conqueror, who reigned as King William I of England from 1066 to 1087, invaded and conquered England throughout his lifetime, amassing vast amounts of territory and wealth from Sussex to Yorkshire along the way. The more nations he conquered, the more riches he accumulated, and that's what he had done throughout his whole lifetime. He left his children a bequest of $229.5 billion when he died. Number 7. Mir Osman Ali Khan, $230 billion. In his office, Mir Osman Ali Khan is said to have kept the diamond as a heavyweight. Nizam of Hyderabad is another name for him. Until India seized the kingdom, he was one of the 7 Nizams that controlled. Jacob Diamond, valued at $95 million today, was part of a personal gold collection worth over $100 million. And he had more than $400 million in jewelry, even though he had an enormous personal fortune and had a public currency called the Hyderabadi rupee. He was also featured on the cover of Time magazine in 1937, Indian history's wealthiest individual. Additionally, he had an estimated net worth of around $230 billion at the time of his death. His Majesty was a kind of monarch who put education, research, and building on the national agenda. He mandated that all residents get a minimum of elementary education. It was also free for the needy, as stipulated in his proclamation. Number 6. Nikolai Alexandrovich Romanov, $300 billion. He is also known as Nicholas II of Russia, the last emperor of Russia and a ruler of Poland and Finland. From 1894 until 1917, he governed Russia until he and his family were assassinated by Bolshevik rebels. It is estimated that Nicholas II had a net worth of over $900 million in 1916, which was equal to $300 billion in 2012 when adjusted for inflation. The Russian Orthodox Church has declared him a saint, making him the wealthiest saint in human history with a net worth of $300 billion. Number 5. John D. Rockefeller, $341 billion. John Davison Rockefeller, the legendary oil magnate and millionaire, commanded 90% of the flow of black gold throughout the 20th century oil. In 1937, at the age of 97, he passed away. With the founding of the Standard Oil Company, the United States' biggest oil firm was born. During that period, he controlled 90% of the world's oil supply. One big corporation was broken up into 34 smaller ones. John D. Rockefeller was also the first person to raise $1 billion in private capital. If his riches were converted, they'd be worth around $341 billion. After the First World War, he donated a large sum of money to charitable organizations and established the Rockefeller Foundation with a $250 million investment. Number 4. Andrew Carnegie, $372 million. Before he died in 1919, Andrew Carnegie, a wealthy Scots-American industrialist and philanthropist, amassed his fortune in the 19th century. Andrew Carnegie turned his attention away from the oil sector and onto the steel industry with the Carnegie Steel Company, which he founded alongside. Using his money, he thought it was necessary to put money into education. Therefore, he poured millions of dollars into it in the United States. Moreover, Andrew spent his last years as a philanthropist, donating 90% of his income to various charities, colleges, and other institutions before he passed away. Number 3. Akbar the First, $680 billion. His reign lasted from 1556 until 1605, when he was referred to as Akbar the Great, the third Mughal emperor of India. Approximately the same size as a modern-day India, his empire was responsible for a quarter of a global GDP at the time. The mansabdari system was used by the Mughals. In other words, areas where an officer is given the responsibility of bringing in money from the property. For this money, the emperor may demand troops depending on territory size because they weren't picked via family process. Akbar also had a tremendous lot of discretion. The emperor was able to collect taxes from 15 of these provinces because of the empire's rule, which made him wealthy. Number 2. Augustus Caesar. After the death of his father, Julius Caesar, Augustus took control of the Roman Empire, which included Egypt, and ruled it from 27 BC to 14 AD. When Rome went from being a republic to an empire, he was one of the most effective commanders in the process. A realm that had 25 to 30% of the world's GDP at the time belonged to him, making him the mastermind behind the Pax Romana. Aside from that, he has an estimated net worth of $4.6 trillion. Number 1. Mansa Musa, incalculable wealth. It is widely accepted that Mansa Musa, who ruled the Malayan Empire from 1280 to 1337, was the wealthiest man in the world at the time. He indeed had the know-how to take Timbuktu and open the key trans-Saharan trade routes to Niger. His era, which spanned from 1280 to 1337, had a significant positive impact on Timbuktu's society and economy. He also had the authority of the Bambuk gold mines, which produced more than half of the gold that was available at the time. It goes without saying that his wealth cannot be measured in dollars, euros, or any other currency. On the other hand, to distribute the money to the poor and mosques, he had to travel to Mecca with about 2 kilograms of gold, 60,000 companions, and a big number of camels, each weighing about 12 kilograms. Mansa Musa was traveling to Mecca for the Hajj during the Hajj season of 1324 to 1325, one of Islam's 5 pillars, while he spoke. But this trip was different from all the others. Musa made his country a significant factor in the Islamic world by laying gold on the route to Mecca. So, these are the top 10 wealthiest people in global history. Did we overlook somebody who ought to be on this list? Let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed the video, and make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Thank you in advance for your feedback. I am Miss Luxurious, signing off for now. Do not forget to visit our YouTube luxury channel Luxoid to explore the exemplification of the great state of comfort and extravagant living.